So as Rachel mentioned, I'm a co-host of Sex Worker Literati. These postcards are on some of your tables. Please do come. We're here September 3rd. I'm featuring all readers who have worked with Spread Magazine before, including such people as Zach Smith, who has a new book out called We Did Porn, which is memoir and drawings, and a bunch of other really excellent, fun readers. So you should come September 3rd, first Thursday of every month. Plug, plug, plug. You can also see videos from Sex Worker Literati at hosehookerscallgirlsrentboys.com and some stuff that's not in this book. It's also at the website. Okay, so I'm going to read my piece from Hose Hookers, Call Girls, and Rent Boys. It's called Hot Flush of Cash and Lust. I'm reading 3 segments of it, and I'm going to let you fill in the spaces in between by buying the book. Dating your coworkers is a really bad idea. Every article I've ever read on the subject advises this with various degrees of emphasis. These articles usually make cracks about mixing business and pleasure, and they tend to be in the sorts of magazines that also give fashion advice about what's appropriate business casual attire. But since I'm actually in the business of pleasure, and my workplace dress code leaves me pondering whether I should only wear perfectly matched bra and panty sets, or if I could squeak by with a black bra and red panties, I figured that those other rules really don't apply to me either. So that's how I found myself dating a fellow sex worker in the messiest way possible. So it's the late summer of my 24th year, and I have devoted myself in earnest to the task of making my living as a naked girl for hire. I had dabbled in this business a little bit before then, and these experiments include accompanying a dom friend on a call where a second girl enthusiastic about ball kicking would be handy. I took up some random foot fetish clients who responded to Craigslist ads that I posted that weren't actually written with them in mind. And I also had done things like answer a call from models who needed only to pretend to be asleep while being carried around, and those are my toe-dipping beginnings of being in the sex industry. So all of these things fit pretty well with my sort of open-minded, New York queer 20-something lifestyle. So then I progressed into more formal escorting work with an online advertising campaign, a consulting business set up through a trustworthy accountant, a rapidly growing wardrobe of pencil skirts and button-down shirts, and a diverse portfolio of lingerie. After making some embarrassing mistakes as a non-pro, which is to sex work what a BB Dyke is to queer culture, I established a mental list of do's and don'ts and learned how to say no to obnoxious or blatantly illegal requests from potential clients. I knew how to check references and screen clients carefully. I knew how to count my cash into labeled envelopes and put non-suspicious amounts into my bank account. And so I'm well on my way to settling into being a very business-like middle-class sex worker with a weekly quota savings plan. And then Lily happens to my life. So when I meet Lily, she answers the door to her apartment in a t-shirt and panties. She's got colorful synthetic dreads piled high atop her head, and her tattooed arms are cradling a black cat. She's stunning in this messy East Village artist kind of way, and she immediately pulls me into a one-armed hug. The cat stays really securely in her other arm. Her studio apartment was almost entirely occupied by her queen-size bed, her bong, and her writing desk. And some of her belongings kind of spill out onto this small balcony. Her computer has 2 browser windows open, one to her email and one pointed at Craigslist erotic services. Lily was a full-body sensual massage provider, also known as FBSM, the coded and polite way of saying rub and tug or happy ending. She billed her sessions as being focused on relaxing the client, which meant that she always kept her panties on and didn't get sweaty and entangled with strange men. And though I had been commanding rates more than twice what she was making for an hour, I was running around the city and doing full-service sessions with executives for whom I had a hard time concealing my loathing. I had no confidence whatsoever in my ability to do this 50-minute massage thing. It seems like difficult and tiring work that I'm not at all trained for. But the notion of keeping my underwear on was actually pretty compelling. Lily marketed herself as herself, while I had been marketing myself as what I imagined a successful escort to be like. She seemed much freer, and her client base tended to be graphic designers instead of corporate lawyers. We spent that first night sitting on her bed, watching bad TV, smoking pot, ordering takeout, getting to know each other, and waiting for the phone to ring. The phone didn't ring. But the evening made me think about the ways that maybe I could change my business model a little bit so that I could be myself more while working instead of compartmentalizing so severely. And it seemed to work really well for Lily, well, in theory at least. So we struck up a business arrangement. So, of course, the business arrangement turns into something more than business and pleasure, all that. So then this happens. So we often expounded about our mutual erotic interests, but in reality, the interest we were most focused on was making money. Money got us hot and bothered. Well, we were reserving our attraction to each other for a theoretically less complicated time. When I think of her in a aroused state, I remember one day most clearly. Upon my arrival at her apartment, she was flushed with excitement and just really grabby when I came in the door. She was all mouth and hands. She explained that she filed for disability a few years prior because of mental health issues, and seemingly out of the blue had just received a check from the U.S. government for $10,000. She, of course, had gone right to the nearest check cashing place since she didn't have a bank account. And she stuffed all this cash, mostly $20 bills, into her messenger bag. So she has this really sexy idea for our evening's entertainment. So we're going to shut off our work phones. Very exciting. Then we're going to take a bath together and get very, very high. Also exciting. And then we'll roll around naked in the cash on her bed. So sorry. Even now, when I think about the really, really hot sex we had, I think about currency stuck to her flesh. So over the next few months, we really only have sex when someone pays us for it. This includes me tying her up and abusing the hell out of her tits at a photo shoot. We do a lot of fucking each other with strap-ons for delighted paying onlookers. You know how it is. In those other moments when no one's watching, this sexless gulf between us grew. We still talked animatedly about sex, and we lay in bed watching many a late-night porno, but by the time we'd finished our respective days of sex work, often spent touching strangers' penises together, I pretty much lost my appetite for fucking. I just couldn't cheerfully switch gears from professional sexual caretaker to recreational sexual dynamo, especially when this great range of fun and work was supposed to happen all within the walls of her tiny apartment. Inside the bubble of our relationship, I felt bonded to and secure with Lily, though there were plenty of things about the way she managed her life and business that I found really unsettling. I clung to her because she could understand what I was going through, my experiences in the sex industry, better than anyone else. No one else could ever understand the good, the bad, and the peculiar mess of working in the sex business. But then, our bubble popped on Valentine's Day. You'll have to read the rest in the book.